Welcome to Fairview Lake, where we continue work on our ghost train. Last episode we got to work on the station, now we need somewhere for the ride to go. Hello you, welcome to Geekers and welcome back to Fairview Lake. That's right, but today we're carrying on work with our ghost train. I feel like this is going to be a bit of a long few episodes to get this done because there's just a level of sort of detail that you want to get in these builds, and it takes time. But I hope you're along for the ride. The general consensus was this first room should be a sort of library or study or dining room or that kind of thing. So keeping it sort of a generic manor house type room, and I think that's a great idea. I think a library is a really good idea, so we'll do bookshelves all around, and then I think we'll do a centerpiece of maybe the piano or maybe a table and chairs there, and then we'll head off into the next room. A few people mentioned that the spider was too big, no, that was just placeholder for the thumbnail, honestly. I do like the idea of the spider. I actually think a good place for the spider would be here. And have it set to a trigger so that as they come down, the spider comes down and then they do the dip to miss the spider, and then they come back up through a load of cobwebs, and that's a nice big finish before exiting the ride. Okay, so that's what we're probably going to do with the spider there. We'll get the lights on so we can see what we're doing in the darkness here, and we'll start working on some bookcases. Okay, so no books. There's one book in the game, and it is a sign for the sorcery pack that has this big metal thing going along the back. So I have used this in places. I think you can get away with this as like a book in a pile. Astralore has a few of these, and then there's a resort. Or is it a marketplace decoration? Actually, marketplace decoration. Yeah. So this one. With the right colours makes a good sort of pile of papers. If you bring them down into these sort of like creams, that acts as a good pile of papers. So there's two options. What I don't want to necessarily do, though, is just a repeat of the room in Astralore in Meanderville, where we've got like piles of papers, and it's more of like a wizard's sort of workshop kind of space. I think this would look better and just different as a more formal study, I suppose. So really what we need to do is build the bookshelves and then do one or two variations of them regarding like how the books sit on them. So that's probably going to be my plan to start off with. So we'll just dive straight into it. The first one can be here. That'll get us two along there, which I think is fine. Let's do that. Okay. I'm afraid there's not going to be a whole lot of videos on the channel over the next couple of weeks. I'm actually taking a vacation. My folks are visiting from the UK, and both of them, myself and Xander, are heading out on a little trip to see some of Canada, because it's one thing I haven't really done since getting here, honestly, is sort of actually seeing the country. When we moved here, it wasn't much longer until COVID was a thing, so we were kind of locked up, and then after that it just was never something that I really was able to do. So we're going to head out. Folks are coming over. We're going to go and see Toronto, which I live quite near Toronto. We've seen Toronto a lot, but we're going to have a couple of days in Toronto. We're going to have a few days in Montreal, Ottawa, Quebec, and we're going to go and sort of see up the what's the best way to put it? The sort of the inhabited strip of Canada, basically, because there's a lot of Canada, but 90% of it, they all live sort of in one little spot. Looking forward to that. I have tried to get some of these sort of batch recorded, but I don't love doing that. I don't know if you've noticed on the channel, but I'm favouring or trying to at least favour a bit more of a sort of a more developed edit on videos, I suppose. I'm trying to get into the habit of producing stuff that's a little bit more polished, and and therefore a little less regular, and it's difficult to sort of batch those up. So I haven't really been able to get that much ready for the trip, unfortunately. So bear with us. I'll do my best to cover news and everything if there is any. And there'll be a few of these Fairviews, and yeah, I'm gonna just try my best to get as much as I can out for you folks. But it may be quite a couple of weeks until the end of the summer. Once the kiddo goes back to school, I get back into a bit of a better rhythm. And some channels you'd seem they kind of blow up a little bit over the summer. Mine always quiets down because there's just a lot on. Okay, so I think we have to just make a couple of books now. I think we probably do that the way we've always done them, which is going to be using, I forget the name of it, but there's one, yeah, this thing, the oval cylinder. This, in my opinion, makes a really great book spine. Oops. So I think the plan here will be to make a few dozen of these in different sort of shapes and sizes. It might be worth making them not be part of the bookcase so we can copy them around a bit quicker. There we go. And this might be, even though this is a real-time series, this might be the sort of thing I do for a chunk off camera, because it's just going to be very repetitive. It's going to be the same thing made over and over again, basically. So I'm going to do that. Right, that was that way. Oh, what I want to give for just like 5 or 6 piles of books like we had from Spooky. It was Spooky, wasn't it? Spooky Pack. And then we'll make sure we colour it all. There we go. So colour-wise, it's going to be browns, purples, like real deep, rich colours, you know. We'll come in with one of these, and we'll make it 1% bigger. There we go. And that's actually probably a pretty fine colour for these, actually, but we'll just take the edge off a little bit, although it is going to be pretty dark in here. There we go. So there's a book. Yeah, I think the trick here is going to be to take that off the grid there. Oh, it would be nice if we were building on the right space there, but we're not. That's okay. I suppose they've all got to look a little higgledy-piggledy anyway. And at least for these bigger ones, there's absolutely no reason to do any sort of pages. If we pull them down in scale a little bit, we might have to. So here then, we'll take these. We should be able to put that in ourselves. There we go. Like that. I think, I mean, it may be on the bottom row, but anywhere else, we don't actually have to worry about being able to see pages or not. That's good. Okay, let's go dark teal, and that's a perfectly good colour. Oh. And now we have enough pieces there for it to figure out what it wants to do regarding the middle. Okay, and yeah, I'm going for, like, you may think this seems repetitive, but I'm going for more of a formal library where there's like volumes like this, you know, like organized volumes. I think that's definitely the way to go. Okay, and then what we'll do is just shuffle all of this over a little bit, because they would fill the bookcases there. There we go. Okay, and then, well, I'm tempted to use these now then, just because it's a little easier. What we can do here then is come in and take all of this top half up a little. take these up to the top this time. Maybe put one lower down. We will recolor these. And we'll recolor everything else as well. Oh, it might be just easier to deselect those ones. There we go. How about a nice deep purple? Let's have a look what we've got. Something like this. Or like a richer, yeah, there we go. Almost black, really. Oh. Go. And then we'll do something like this just to give it a little bit of flavour, because otherwise it'll look very repetitive. I mean, it kind of does look a little bit repetitive now, but I do think that's kind of what I want to go for here. Just a much more of a formal library compared to the whimsical nature of Astralore. Okay. Come in here then, and we'll change. Oops. Come in. 1, 2, 3. And this time we'll go a nice deep red. That's lovely. These can come up into more of a white. There we go. What are those? Then that one. Could just go grey. We'll do a load of these. Okay, my plan then will to do probably 3 of these in different variations, because I think that's enough so that it doesn't, it won't look sort of tiled, I guess, for want of a better word. So I'll quickly do those. Okay, I got 3 nice bookcases. I'll be honest with you, through the magic of editing, that was like a second gap. I actually built these and then got pulled away from the computer, and now it's about 3 days later. Yeah, so I can't quite remember what I was saying. I'm pretty sure we were just working through a library plus other bits and bobs. So I don't know whether we'll do bookcases all the way around. That'd be a little bit boring. I think we'll break them up. So let's leave that much of a gap. And yeah, we can do some like spooky things. Let's go this one and this one. Turn them. And let's see how that looks. Okay, so we're coming up to like here. That's fine. That gives us 2 spaces for... yeah, we'll move that one over into the middle, and then that gives us 2 spaces of fun to work with. Okay, about there, yes. That's about right. I'll move this one into the middle. Yeah, and then we'll actually flip that one again. Oops, and put it here with this one. There we go. Okay. And I think, along with everything else, that will actually look pretty good. Okay, so first of all, we need to change these walls out. These are no good. We could probably, we're just going to use the same as what we did in the station, at least to begin with, and we'll just change the color very slightly, I think. But I think there's nothing wrong with this. Like these 2 pieces, basically. Yeah, that's fine. I'll bring that around there. So, and then we'll just change this to be maybe like a green. green would look good. Okay. So this only really actually needs to be seen there and there. This needs to go all the way around because that'll be the ceiling. So we'll copy that around there. Oops. 2, 4. Too much. So I can probably swing it that way. Okay, that's really all we have to do there. I have to neaten that up, but I've got a feeling most of that's going to be never actually seen on the ride itself, you know. I think that looks like it needs one more. There's that. Okay, that's good. And then one more this side. Oops. So we will need one of these over here. Cool. Well, then we'll add a archway there before we go into whatever the next room is. Okay. Cool. I think these need some little tables with some dead plants on, maybe. Oh, I tell you what I did get. I got some screen stuff, didn't I? I got some images to put onto screens. Here you go, projection screen 4 meters. So, slight trigger warning, these are a little creepy. I found some like creepy painting type stuff. It's mostly kids with skeleton faces for some reason when I googled for this kind of stuff, but I think this will work well as picture frames. Okay, so we'll put that down to an acceptable size, which I think is about that. Okay, so for a picture frame, I think a little piece of trim, all coloured up gold, this is probably going to do us nicely. Let's see, what have we got? There's these ones. These would all be fine, I think, if they recolored well. There's also like this stuff as well. I think this is probably good. That first color might be tricky to do, but let's see. Yeah, if we make that a nice sort of clearly goldy color. And kind of the same with that one. And then bring it down. Yeah, I think this might actually be exactly what I did in Meanderville recently when I built picture frames for some posters in a gift shop. I think this might be the exact one we used. But it'll work nice here, I think. That needs to be a little bit bigger than that, isn't it? Because it's going to be the same piece the other way as well. We should be able to do that. There. Down. Like, that's okay. It'll probably need a piece to go in the corner there, I think, and neat it up. I think otherwise that's just a little too messy, I think. But then we should be able to take all of these now, sink them in, and be happy with them. Yeah. We've got a little bigger. There. Yep, that's good. Swing that around. Yeah, I'm happy enough with that. If we could get that colour closer, where is that? That's this one. So it doesn't really matter what we do there, it doesn't make that any darker. Okay. So how about a piece of trim that'll neaten up there, a little bit of metal. Let's see what we've got. I'm trying to remember. There was one we used, something like that, but square would be perfect. We must have used something like this in that other build, but I can't remember what it was for the life of me. Let's see. Let's see, somewhere around here there might be something. Let's do like the top or bottom of a pillar piece or something, you know. Yeah, I cannot remember what I used at all. That's probably pretty good though. I think that's great as long as we can pretty much match. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Would love some picture frames. We had some really great ones in the first game that I think were probably Spooky Pack. Love to see them again. Okay, I'm going to take that. Bring it over here. There we go. And then we'll change the image. I think some of them were the other way up. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's so gross. That one will do. I like that they're not, you know, they're just a little creepy. Just a shy, just a little spooky. Okay, wall lights. I think probably just some simple sconce type stuff here, I think, is what we need rather than anything too fancy. I reckon we'd probably use the orb here. Could we make this work? This is quite fun. Could probably make this work, couldn't we? There we go. Just probably shrink it down slightly. Or I suppose the other option we could do is have it so it's like sat on it. And that's quite fun as well. Yes, I think I prefer that. Let me see it. Yeah, that's good. So we'll set this to be on. I'm pretty sure that is the one that's the colour. Yeah, so I'll set it to tan. Yeah, just this little this way. And hopefully these won't be too bright. We can always knock them down a little bit if we need to. Let's try that. That's good. The kind of level theming I'm looking for. You know, these would just be fake books. These are just printed pictures, some lighting. You know, we're not going crazy here with anything. I don't know if they refer to them as vases, but yeah, okay. I'm thinking something like this in front with some with some dead plants in, basically. I think that would be quite fun. It probably needs to be smaller and on a thing, I think. So let's put it there. Then we'll go to the bushes. And I think it's probably going to be something like that. Creosote, dead ass bush. Like, just looks weedy and gross. There's something about dead plants that's like very visceral creepiness, you know. Okay, let's just take the edge of these a little bit. I don't mind the pattern being on there. just want these to be a little darker than they are, I think. Okay. And then pedestal-wise, pedestal, yeah, there's a few. They're pretty big. What's that one like? It's like a wrought iron one. It's quite nice. These are going to be huge, aren't they? Yeah. There's that shrink down. Oh, that looks pretty good shrunk down. Maybe we go for that. Let me see. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think this needs to just come down into the same sort of area as us here. I don't think we'll keep it green, but we'll use that green tone as like an under the, just so it's under the grey a little, you know. God, that makes it much darker. Nice. Okay, happy with that. Alright, we'll grab. Oops. One of these. Those two want to move on the grid. Well, we'll do it that way then. Because this we're going to want to twist around anyway. Okay, I think that's good. Roof-wise, I don't think we go white roof now. I think we change to black roofs inside the ride. We basically repeat this. Whoop, and just do that. Change the grid height a little. I think we probably need to go there. I think that's okay. Yeah, and then we can actually just take these. Oops, is that where we stopped before? Yeah, okay. Take these and just lift them up. Nice. And already we're kind of cooking with the lighting and the look, and the plaster pattern looks fantastic here as well. Is that just because the green is really bringing it out? Because you don't see that as much with the cream we're using here, but here it's just real great. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I love the light shifting as we move through. I think that's probably because we're still sort of open over here. You know, it'll take a while to really darken the whole thing in. But otherwise, I think that's pretty good. Now, if I was in a higher budget park, I would probably look at animating some of these books, having them sort of, you know, just shake. But I think for something like this, just the fact that you're in a spooky area is probably it. And then I was thinking here, we would actually have something that's a little animated. I'm just with my drink there, excuse me. So what I think we'll do is we'll take the roof here, because I do like to have the roof on as we're building, but it is nice to be able to do that. So it's worth throwing the roof on a separate building so you can just move it up out the way whenever you want to, like taking off the lid of a Lego set or a toy box, a doll's house or what have you. So then here, I think we do like a table with oh man, what's the word? A ball for reading the future, fortune telling ball, I have no idea what they're called. Glass. What's the word for those? You know what I mean? Fortune balls, something like that. A little bit like the one in Phantom Manor or Haunted Mansion, where there's, I think it's Haunted Mansion actually that have them, and there's like a lady's head in them. Like a crystal ball. Crystal ball! That's what I'm trying to think of. Crystal ball. My God. Okay. I think we can make a cool crystal ball. And also, I think we should have some windows here as well, just to say, like, there isn't it. Because, like, these could have been windows as well. But I wanted those to be pictures. So we'll do a fake window here with a crystal ball sat in front of it. I think that would be quite fun. So let's get started on that then. Let's go and have a look at windows. There might be something we could just use out of the gate. Let's just have a look at the small town ones. Most of them might look a little external. That's actually pretty good. That's the other one we already used. Oh no, we used that square one. Okay, I like this one though. I actually do. I think we can make that work. So let's come over here and let's copy these. Okay, just want to move these together very nicely, but that's okay. So we'll place this where we want the back to be. Okay, and then put that on a 45. Well, let's build it first because we're going to use the same thing a few times. So, do we still want to use this? Yeah, we do. Okay, so we'll go there. Oops, and there, and then throw a window on it. And I think we like these ones. These, I can't decide whether these would be high enough budget to have screens in them. They certainly could be. I don't think it would be terrible if these had screens in. And would give you much more of a nice center point to look at. Problem is, it would mean doing quite a bit of work with the plaster because we'd have to pull it past where the screen would be hidden, pop it that way. That's going to clip probably. Oh, we're okay for now. Okay. Like that. Maybe we can get away with this fairly easily. Let's do that. Oops. And there. Can we get away with it a little further there? So, yeah, we would just need 3 tiny bits for figuring that out. What's out to there? Ooh, these go so tiny. Oh my god, they go so tiny. Let's make them a little bigger just to make them a little easy to work with. That's fine. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take all of this and pop it onto its own building, just to help us out. Yeah, I think that's good. And then what we can do, actually pull this out a little, I think, now. Yeah. Oh no, we don't want to though, do we? We want to go... No, we don't want to move it. There we go. Is this now no longer on its own building? Okay. Oh, I'm getting all confused. Pulling it out would completely remove the points of doing what we just did. Okay, so here then we can go to scenery and screens again. Maybe these ones should be lit up. I can't quite remember what the what it looks like basically. But there we go. We can put it there. Oh, that's kind of perfect, eh? And then we'll probably just have to delete the window every time we want to edit it. And then custom, and I'm honestly not sure what it's called, but we have 2 storms basically. Yeah, there we go. So what we can do here then is pull this over. There we go. And let's just see if that plays okay. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, you get the camera flicker from the original video, but that's just how it goes. And then we can duplicate that. Put it on an angle. Put it in here. Okay, and then we'll get the window right first, and then we'll worry about everything around it. So let's do there. Window's going to be okay. It's just going to be the wall around it that we have to do something with. But what we can do is pull the whole thing just a shy forward. That's going to really help us out. Yeah. Yeah, even just that little bit covering there, that makes a big difference. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to do some work here because your eye is going to be drawn to this area. So all of these little things, like all of this sort of stuff, we're going to have to spend some time hiding. I can't even see where that one's coming from. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I have to clean those up a little bit, but that's okay, I think. And then regarding these, that's going to have to come into there. I think that's probably fine. This is just going to get deleted. It's way too big. And then, yeah, screen can go that way. Well, that's okay, because that kind of makes the same scene now, so that's good, actually. I mean, we could do is a little bit of it can overlap. If we put that in the middle, because we do have two versions of this, but it would be nice if they were on the same one. Yeah, I think that might look okay like that. Okay, so then this has to come in. What does this look like if we just go to there? I think that's okay. And then we just kind of need... Where's one of these little pieces? If we can get to it. There we go. Straighten that up. And pull it down here. And it'll sit right where it needs to. And be just about neat enough. Don't love that this is a different colour now. Maybe if we do this. I can't remember the code here. Okay, so if we take this, make it that colour, split it from the building, and just sync it. It's just off. That can't just be the angle for it to be that far off colour, no. Oh, it's because that's stucco and that's plaster. Wow, makes such a difference. That's crazy. So the plaster one is the one that has the more, you know, interesting texture, I guess. There we go. Now we can bring this in here. Over. Nice. That's good. Let's come down. Not too sure what this side looks like. Oh yeah, there we go. So we can go to there, which is good enough there. I don't know what we're going to do here. This needs curtain over it, really. Well, I guess we'll have a look at the roof when the roof is in. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'll take one of this side. Anything here we don't want? No, no. It's going to be tricky to select it all. I want you, you. Let's just do that and then say no to that. Might be it. No to that. That looks like everything on the right side now. Pull that in that way. Oops. There we go. Okay. Go to that for a sec. And move it that way. There we go. And now, let's see if the repetition looks bad. See that? The clouds loop a little. Yeah, the clouds loop a little. We go that way as far as we can. Oops, oh, that's probably about right. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I think that's okay. I think there's a little bit of repetition, but it isn't terrible. Okay, so we'll get rid of you. Move you over, and then actually the one we got rid of would have been fine to keep. Oh, that's okay. We'll pull that down, and then we need to shrink it. To there. Let's peek in a little. Okay, and then, oh, we're getting real close to this. I mean, we could adjust the track. I'd rather not, though. Do we just have this to be even thinner, I suppose? Bring that to there. Like that. Okay, I feel like that's probably all right. No clipping over here. That's good. And then enough room for a doorway there. Okay, so there's a nice, slightly thinner arch in sorcery that I think would work here. This is quite nice as well. Do you know what? That's actually change of plan. This is real nice. Now it's scalable. This thing was kind of too big for anything in the first game, but now it's actually kind of neat. Can we change the color of it? Ah, that's why it's useless. I knew there was a reason it was useless. It's because it can't be recolored. Okay, yeah. So we've got this one, this one. That's too wide. That's too ostentatious. Okay, so that is going to be the one if we decide to use it. Like that. It's tricky. Because you need to kind of make it so that they can't hit it even if they put their hands out. So even though that's wide enough for the truck, the whole thing needs to kind of be like that. Which means we're really into the doorway again. Yeah, okay. What's the solution here that isn't moving the track? Because I'd rather not close the ride down and everything. Is it? Wait, am I just getting confused? Is that the one I've just used? I think it is, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, there's also some thinner arches. Like stucco has some good options, to be honest. Maybe it is just a stucco one again. Yeah, like that's kind of where it needs to be, isn't it? I think that's probably fine. The problem with this now is that this is a really, really wrong green, so we're going to spend a bit of time making it work. There, looks okay. This should probably be like a stone colour, I think. Okay. And then we'll make some stucco on top of it. Oops. Just get a gridded piece, it's fine. Boop. And I can go there. That's close enough. So here we're going to struggle on the other side of this. So I think we have to do a bit more of a focus piece. Here we're okay, I think. We'll just take that down there. And just take that way. Okay. And then we'll take you. And you. There we go. That's that first room done. That looks fine to me. So yeah, here is going to be the only problem. I could build it with like bits of wood and stuff, but I think instead we just put something there and take the attention away from it. In fact, we could probably just bring another one of these over. That's fine. Yeah, I think that's good. This probably needs curtains, I guess. Yeah, it's going to need curtains, isn't it? Okay, so let's find one we're happy with and we can replicate. I think these are going to be a little too tricky here just because of how many of them we need and what we need them to do. Well, maybe not. Let's have a look. We probably won't do these as grandiose as the other ones. Yeah, so it's going to be something like that. And I suppose here we can get away with something like that, where it just looks like the one is doing both. Yeah, I'm actually kind of happy with that. Here, it's going to cause a slight issue with these. I think these need to probably come out a bit more. Yeah, okay. So, all of these then, can I not pick them? Oh, were they not on a grid? There we go. So all of these will make a nice, very deep green. That's not dark. And then is this the stick? Oh, that's a little trim at the bottom. Okay. Yeah, look at that. That doesn't go very nicely dark green, eh? Okay, well, this is what it is. It's fine. And then we'll take the... I think we'll use the little frilly one here. Yeah, these ones. Okay. And color coding on those is so off, it's weird. Okay. That really has to be something like that, I think. Be a nightmare here again, but I'll make it work. Because we can just sneak it into the that one. Yeah, there we go. Like, this is very much a swan, this thing. It's going to look terrible from any angle other than the ride itself, you know. But I think that will look pretty good. There we go. Okay. And then table then. Well, we haven't really got that many options for tables, I don't think. Again, Spooky Pack in the original game had a great one. I think what we're going to have to do here is use a parade base, the big wooden version of the parade base. Let's find that. Here we go. So we need a 6-foot one of these. That's the thinnest, which is probably going to be top. There we go. And then we'll pull that right down, and there instantly we've got a dining table sized top thing. There we go. Which I'll put there, and probably darken a little. Okay, and then underneath that, how do we do some nice sort of bendy legs? What about one of the Viking trim pieces, like something like? Oh, I mean that might just do it. Oh, it's metal. That's a shame. That was wood. That's basically 90% of the way there, eh? Yeah, I was thinking more like, yeah, these. This is what I was thinking, this kind of piece. Because this is a little creepy octopus type thing going on. So even if we don't really show it off very well, I think there'll just be like an underlying kind of current, you know? Yeah, that's good. It just needs to be bigger. Okay, we're not quite on the ground. I have no idea what scenery group we're in here either at this point. Get some lights on here so we can see what's going on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks great actually. Nice. And then here we'll have the glass ball that we got. So we could use something like this and just have it light up, but I think we could go a little fancier here. As like this will be the expense of this build, if that makes sense. So is it what's called an orb? What's it called? Just a ball, parade float ball. I love it. Where is it? There. Oh yeah, look at that. We'll make it about that big. We'll have it off the ground. And then inside here, we'll add a special effect. There are a few special effects that I would just never really figure out how to make them work. But I don't know if it's magical smoke. Let's see. Yeah, magical smoke keeps going. I think there's one that keeps it a bit more attached, isn't there? What's it called? Let's see. It's probably, it might be pyrotechnics. Star effects, special effects, sparks burst. Ah, here we go. Sorcery. They're not called magic, they're called sorcery. Oh, that's a one-off. Bingo. I knew one of them was what I was looking for. Now, I don't think this can shrink. So we're kind of locked into this thing being that size. So probably have to make the ball a bit bigger. There we go. And whilst that looks magical, it can actually just be made with some loop, I don't know, some funky lighting effects. So what colour is that? It's like a nice blue, isn't it? Oh, let's do green as well then. They mix together then? Look cool. They kind of do. Ooh, pretty. Okay. We're going to go for those. We're going to try and adjust these so that they cover that effect. Nodule. Like so. That's good to me. Okay. And then I think we can say it floats, or we're going to put it onto a base. I think we should probably put it onto a base. There's a nice round column piece that'll work well. Yeah, that one. Boop. I mean, colours-wise, that's fine, actually, I guess. Yeah, I think that's cool. And then that's a nice little look at, you know, look at this. There's a cool thing here. And then it goes off into the next room. Here, I wonder if a knight of armour would work. Are they called knights? They are. We'll go with him. We'll shrink him down a little bit. We'll put him there. Wait, is that the one? That's the one I want to have. Because he will just sit on a loop, I think. He'll just stand there like that. Yeah, we just want him standing there. We don't need him doing much. Oh, and there's a pigeon in here now. A spooky pigeon. Okay. We'll bring the floor down. Or the roof down even. And duplicate those. One more there, I guess. There we go. That blocks in the room. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so what I'm hoping is... Let's bring this as low as we can. Oh, this will be a little funky for a second. Yeah, if we take that to there. And it just cuts all the curtains off. Excellent. Excellent indeed. That's a little gross there. Get away with that. I think we can. Yeah. Okay. Alright, cool. Let's have a look at it then in the full spook of the evening. Okay. And then we'll turn our light off, of course. Okay. It's super dark. This looks insane. I kind of dig it. I think a little bit of mist and light, you could replicate that. Okay, so where do we need some light in then? We've got to light up the night. The room, basically. Yeah, the whole room needs lighting up. Alright. So how are we going to do that then? Using some nice little up lights, I guess. Probably be a good start. Let's see. What about this one? Loop. Set that to black. Set this to like a purple. Okay. I mean, I don't know about you. That seems to do absolutely nothing. And this is probably my biggest issue with the lighting in this game is they none of them seem to do anything. They're just so little. Like, it's this or nothing, you know? So, let's see. Can we get this to work? We'll probably just have to do this. Sync it. And set it to be a nice purple. Yes. So that is what I would expect from the other one. Yeah. So get all like these up. So now we come in. It's nice purpley glow. That looks cool. We will do something similar for this guy, but we'll make him green. Oh yeah, look at that. Cool. I mean, there's only these ones that don't really get seen, but that's okay. You're gonna whiz past them, aren't you? Nice. Okay. There we go. There's our first room. I've got a bit of a feeling it might be a room, a video at this rate, because we want to kind of keep the detail there, but I think that's a pretty solid start. Seeing as so many of you had great ideas for this room, let's hear the next one. What else can we do? The only thing I'm pretty sort of set on, honestly, is I think when we do the drop here, we'll theme it to spiders. Maybe like we could do spiders in the attic, or we could make it look a little outdoorsy with some graveyards. Gravestones and stuff, but I want to have the spider come down here and and you sort of dip down past the spider and then come back up as the big finish. So I reckon there's one room. I reckon we'll do each of these corners is one. So room 2, 3, 4, spiders, finish. So answers on a postcard, please, or the comments below. Makes more sense. What's our next spooky room going to be? Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm going to try and get a couple of these out a week while I'm away. I'm not able to batch record like I used to. I just haven't got it in me anymore, and I want to keep these fresh and not sort of phoned in, So, but I'm going to struggle to get much else out while I'm away. So I'm going to try and get a few of these done. So let me know in the comments as soon as you can what's next, and I will. And I'll pick out a good one and see what we can do. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Till the next one. Be good.